Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to a new video. In this video, I'm going to be going through some of Yasir Qadhi's Karbala lecture. This video has received like 700,000 views, more if you count other channels. It's been seen by a lot of people. The reason why people watch this video is because Yasir Qadhi attempts to provide the Sunni audience with the Sunni narrative, the Sunni perspective of what occurred at Karbala. Now, yeah, there's a lot to say about that, but I'm just going to play some of these clips and I'm going to be commenting on the information that he shares.
We have no time for any of that. And it is very easy to give 10 lectures just on Karbala. I'm only giving you one lecture. So by the very nature of this lecture, we have to condense. We have to summarize. And I am not going to be mentioning variations as I do in my Seerah class. You're literally just going to have to trust me and my authority for today's lecture.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem. That's the first issue, trusting Yasir Qadhi and his authority. Yeah, let's carry on.
Giving you one interpretation, but I just want to point out the interpretation that I will be giving is the standard interpretation of Sunni Islam. It is taken from the writings of Ibn Hajar, of Ibn Kathir, of the important historians of Sunni Islam, and by and large it is agreed upon. And the third and final disclaimer, that the other version, we have this version, there is another version that is popularized by the Shia, and most of this comes from one particular person. The details of that version comes from one person, and this person was a very early Muslim historian who was also Shia, and his name is Abu Mikhnaf Lut ibn Yahya, and he died 157 Hijrah. And Abu Mikhnaf Lut ibn Yahya was the first early historian to write a detailed booklet about the massacre of Karbala, and he called it Maqtalu Hussein. And this booklet, Maqtalu Hussein, became the standard version, full of lurid details, full of a lot of things that allegedly took place. And from our perspective, this author and his book are not authoritative. All of our scholars have said that this person is not somebody that can be trusted in narrations, because he theologically is inclined towards the other group, and therefore he has a version of events that we do not agree with, and we will not really be concentrating on that version of events. As I said, our version will be by and large Ibn Kathir and Ibn Hajar and the standard Sunni historians. Now, we begin our talk.
Alright, so that's quite important, right? He's not going to be using the Shi'i rendition of events. Okay? I have right here with me a copy of Abu Mikhnaf's rendition of Maqtal Hussein, and it's printed, of course, by a Shi'i bookstore, a Shi'i publisher, Dar al-Mahajj al-Bayda. It's edited by Kamil al-Jaburi. Let's carry on and let's see what Yasir says in the actual lecture.
Ibn Ziyad, the shrewd politician that he is, he assesses who is out there, which tribes are out there. And from every one of the tribes that he sees, he finds a sympathizer in his own group, and he negotiates a deal with them to cut off one tribe after another, right? You realize the Arabs at that time were tribes, and every tribe is going to follow its leader. And so what he does is he works out with every single tribe, what do they need that they're going to not support Hussein and the Shia, or the uprising against him. And slowly, and so much so, Al-Tabari and others, they mention, he even used mothers and fathers against their children. That he sent the mothers in to say that, come home now, can't you see there are so many people, don't worry about it, you know, I don't want to lose you. It's emotional blackmail. And the fathers also said to their sons that, what are you going to do when the Syrians arrive with their troops? Are you going to die in battle? For what cause? Come home now. So he used whatever means that he can, and one by one.
So Yasir mentions that this information is based off Tareekh Al-Tabari. And if you go back to Tareekh Al-Tabari, surprise, surprise, Al-Tabari is quoting Abu Mikhnaf, the same Shi'i historian that Yasir told us not to take history from. The same Shi'i historian that Yasir said is unreliable.
Ibn Ziyad is negotiating with every tribe. And he's sending them bribes and he's doing whatever he can. You stop and I'll give you this. You remove your men and I'll give you that. And with a little bit of bribes, they all dispersed. And by the time Muslim ibn Aqil prays Maghrib, barely 30 people prayed Salah behind him. And when he turned around and darkness has fallen, from 30 it is now 10. And he is obviously fuming and angry, and he is remonstrating with them, how could you have done this and that? Now what are we going to do? 10 people outside the gate, right? And he decides to basically regroup and spend the night in the quarters of the Kinda. The Kinda was one of the main supporters of Shi'atu Ali, the tribe of Kinda. And in those days, the city was divided into different tribes, like each tribe lived in its own area. So he left the fortress and he walked his way back to Kinda with these 10 people. And subhanAllah, under the cover of night, and as he's walking in the alleyways, every one of these 10 slinks away until he literally finds himself alone, discarded, without even a shelter over his head, without even money or food or drink.
And this information is from Maqtal Hussein by Abi Mikhnaf once again, page 70. Now this one is quite strange because it conflicts directly with what actually happened according to the authentic Sunni narrative. According to Ahl Sunnah, Muslim bin Aqil has 50 men with him. And it's only after a skirmish and after the men are defeated and Muslim bin Aqil is wounded, that's when he is by himself. It's not like they left him intentionally and it was due to their cowardice that he was left all alone. No, he had 50 men with him and there was an actual battle.
Like literally to the last man, they abandoned the cousin of Hussein, and that is Muslim ibn Aqil, the grandson of Abu Talib. Muslim ibn Aqil, the grandson of Abu Talib, the son of the cousin of the Prophet ﷺ, the first cousin of Hussein. He is taken to the highest ramparts on the fortress, and in front of the whole city, he is thrown to his death to be killed in a humiliating manner. And the last words that he said before istighfar and tahleel and shahada, the last word that he said, "O Allah, you be the judge between us and our own Shia, our own people. They deceived us and they deserted us."
Okay, so that's from page 77 in Maqtal al-Hussein li Abi Mikhnaf. Once again, Yasir Qadhi is quoting the same source that he warns us about, the same source that he says is unreliable, and the same source that he is trying to avoid. Also, a brief note, the report doesn't specifically mention Shias, it mentions Qawm or people, it doesn't mention Shias. So just a little brief note.
But now the dialogue begins in his own camp. And remember, Muslim ibn Aqil's own sons are a part of the group. Now their father has just been killed. And they want revenge. And they say, we are not going to go back. We are going to avenge the death of our father. And while this is going on, another person in the party remarks that, "Oh Hussein, you are not like Ibn Aqil. When the people of Kufa see you, there's no way they would abandon you. You are the Sibt al-Nabi, you are Ibn Rasulullah, Ibn Rasul meaning metaphorically, grandson. You are.
Alright, so this is taken from, again, Al-Bidayah wa Nihaya, one of the two main sources that Yasir mentions in the beginning of his video, page 565. In this report, we actually do find Ibn Kathir clearly stating that this is taken from Maqtal al-Hussein by Abi Mikhnaf. Once again, the source that Yasir warns us of, the source that Shias rely upon. Now some of you may be thinking, oh, it's just Farid picking on Yasir. Guys, this video was watched by Sunnis, was watched by you because you wanted the Sunni perspective. Instead, Yasir is providing you with Abu Mikhnaf's version of the events. That's a problem.
And from our perspective, this author and his book are not authoritative. All of our scholars have said that this person is not somebody that can be trusted in narrations, because he theologically is inclined towards the other group, and therefore he has a version of events that we do not agree with, and we will not really be concentrating on that version of events. As I said, our version will be by and large Ibn Kathir and Ibn Hajar and the standard Sunni historians.
Yasir, if you don't have time to prepare a lecture, if you don't want to put in the effort to provide your audience with the correct information, then my advice to you is please don't give that lecture. Alright? And to the rest of you guys, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
You're literally just going to have to trust me and my authority for today's lecture.